Sansa1 shows us that the king's host has now reached the Trident, and given that the last chapter we saw was in the Barrowlands, and this one mentions it takes 12 days to cross the neck, we can infer that this has been at least 2 weeks, but most likely longer considering the difference between the Barrowland and neck, and also the neck and the Trident. We get accounts of the journey through the neck and how there are at least 36 new species of flower that have never been seen by Sansa, and also lizard lions, which are described as half submerged with their eyes and teeth sticking out of the water, which makes me think that lizard lions are in fact alligators. And we also see that there are half-drowned trees covered in pale fungus here, as well as purple flowers that have poison kisses that cause rash. Now, it's interesting to note that the neck does appear to be a swamp, and given that it's part of the north, it seems odd that it has very tropical seeming wildlife in it with the alligators and whatnot. My belief is that, considering that basalt is mentioned at some point around Moat Cailin, that just like Winterfell, the neck is a volcanic area, it's heated, hence why it is able to have a tropical swamp-like environment. It's basically the Florida of Westeros here. We also get another mention here of grumpkins, which apparently are said to steal babies, and Sansa wishes that they swapped Arya at birth. Now this is interesting, as I strongly believe that grumpkins may in actual fact be the children of the forest, and the whole concept of them stealing babies does point towards the activities that we see the others doing during the long night. Now, King's Landing has sent riders north to help escort the caravan, which include Barristan the Bold, the king's brother Renly, and Ilan Payne, the king's executioner, a man who is described as poxmarked, sunken-eyed, and silent. His eyes are also commented to be pale and colourless, and it is revealed to us that 14 years ago the Mad King Aerys had his tongue removed with hot pincers. Now we get to see how Sansa views life here, and it appears that she is completely and utterly indoctrinated in the society which she is being raised in. She views the world as being like the songs and stories, which it very much isn't, as she will soon find out. And she compares Joffrey, who she believes to be her one true love even though not knowing him, to Serwyn of the Mirror Shield, who supposedly saves a Princess Darissa from giants, and also Aemon the Dragon Knight, who defends Queen Nerys' honour against a Sir Morgul who slanders her, showing us that both these knights, who again have been mentioned so far as being Kingsguards, have stories attributed to them. And Serwyn in particular is interesting, as we know he is of the Dawn Age, when the Kingsguard did not yet exist, and also saving a very Targaryen sounding princess from giants, despite the fact that Valyrians are supposedly at that time not meant to exist. And we see that Sansa's delusional state goes so far as to point that we notice in the chapter that she tells Arya that she hates riding, yet when talking to Joffrey, she is so eager to give him everything and anything he wants to please him that she lies to him and tells him that she loves it. So she is very clearly just completely deluded, and as we will see as the story progresses, the veil is going to be stripped away from her eyes. Joffrey shows her his sword Lion's Tooth, and the two wander off alone together, despite the fact that there are supposedly shadow cats mentioned to be in the area, which are very dangerous as we see from future chapters in the Vale. Now, Joffrey is drinking at this point, and as we see, Sansa uses this as an excuse to justify his actions. However, we find that this is not the case. This man, as we have seen so far, this boy, is very much a twisted individual. The wine had nothing to do with it. And so we come across Arya and the butcher's boy Micah, who had themselves wandered off earlier, as Arya claimed she wanted to go and find the lost rubies of Rhaegar and the Trident. And here we find them pretending to sword fight with sticks, leading to Joffrey, being the absolute pain that he is, deciding to attack them as a mockery of them wielding swords. But he is swiftly disarmed after Nymeria defends Arya and bites his arm, and then Arya, out of spite, throws his sword into the river, presumably leaving it unrecoverable. And so Arya flees with her wolf while Sansa attempts to heal Joffrey, acting out the part of a story and consoling her poor wounded prince, leading to him to not respond the way that she would expect him to if it was in actual fact a story, as he turns to her with contempt, leading her to go and seek help.